So you mentioned item 19, and that's obviously like, what everyone looks at first. But when like prospective franchisees are building these like financial models, kind of like what other resources, materials, like can you use to build this projection? Like whether you're applying for a loan or whether you're just trying to make,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is like you got to figure out what's not in the item 19, right? Like, for example, a lot of times the item 19, uh, it doesn't disclose royalties in there. Like, they'll show you revenue, they'll show you some subset of your cost, but they might not have royalties baked in. So you just use that, your model is off. Um, a lot of times, an item 19 gives you averages. Like, here's the thing about averages. Like, listen to me. Let's say Greg is a billionaire. That means on average, all of us are billionaires, right? Or we're all worth $100 million on average. But in reality, it's only Greg that's got the money. So when they're showing you an average, I'd be looking at that kind of sideways. Like, maybe you go back to the franchisor and say, well, show me the person in the bottom 20% or the bottom 10%, and maybe run a set of projections using those types of numbers and ask yourself, okay, what happens if this is my reality? Some franchisors will give you their top 80% or their top 20%, and they're advertising that. And so I'd be looking at what's not in the item 19, and I'd really be reading the heck out of those footnotes. Like, what are the different ways that they are trying to market this thing that could be putting lipstick on the thing, right? Like, so I'd be really careful with looking at those things. So that's the first thing. The second thing I'd say, I'd use my eyes, man. Like, if you can go to one of those locations, that's one of the like the beautiful thing about the FDD, it's giving you all the information you need. It's just a question of how you use it. They're giving you a list of every franchise owner in their system. Call them. Hey, this is my expectation in year one. Is that crazy? Was that your experience? Could you share with me what your profit and loss statement looked like? Like, that sounds like a ridiculously aggressive ask, but like, if I'm opening my location in, Philadelphia, and I'm asking the guy in Seattle, Washington, like, there's a good chance he might be willing to share that information because you're not competing with him. In fact, like, you're helping him because he or she wants other really good franchise owners in the system. So I'd be asking questions of other franchise owners. I'd be using my eyes as well. What I mean by using my eyes, when I was looking at ZIPS, I stood out in the parking lot and I watched people walking in the store. I looked at what were they carrying, how many different things did they have, and you can make up a financial projection based off that. Okay, I know your garments are, $3.49 per. On average, I see people walking in with, 4 or 5 garments. That means each check is probably like 15 to 20 bucks. I saw, 10 people walk in. That's 20 times 10. That's $200 an hour. I mean, like, you could really go backwards by just using your eyes. And you could even take it a step further and then say, okay, I saw how many people walked in at this location. Now let me analyze the demographics. Let me look at their traffic count. How many cars are driving past? How many people live in 1 square mile? Like, I know I'm kind of like getting real deep, but like, that's the type of input that needs to go into your projection. It's what's in the FDD, what's not in the FDD, what did I get from other franchise owners, and what did I observe myself? What kind of assumptions can I make?